Hello, everybody. You're all very welcome this morning to this lovely session that we're having, where I am going to take you through the work we do here at Rangam to support neurodivergent and disabled job seekers into employment. So just a bit about myself, I suppose, before we start. I'm Melissa Mooney, and I'm Solutions Manager for the European region at Rangam Consultants. I was diagnosed with autism and dyspraxia at the age of 6, and I also have several close family members who are autistic or have ADHD or other forms of neurodiversity. So I suppose quite naturally, neurodiversity and disability inclusion is something that is very close to my heart. And I'm really excited to speak to you all today about how we at Rangam are striving to remove the barriers that our community so often, unfortunately, still face in accessing employment where we are supported to thrive. So I suppose a quick bit of housekeeping before we get going. My colleague Jason will be dropping some useful links into the chat as we go along. So things like the link to sign up with us as a candidate, the links to our jobs board, and where you can find our jobs groups on LinkedIn. So keep an eye out for those as we go along, and please feel free to drop any questions or comments you might have into the comment section. Our team will be moderating the comment section as we go, and we should have time for a Q&A at the end if you have any burning questions you'd like me to answer here live. So I suppose with that, let's get into it. If you can move to the next slide, please. So I suppose in this session, what we're going to cover is just a bit more information about Rangam Consultants, what we do as a business, how we can support you as a job seeker, some testimonials from job seekers who I suppose were placed through us and had a great experience, opportunities that we have here in the UK right now, and also I'm just going to walk you through the process of signing up with us as a candidate. And as I mentioned earlier, there will hopefully be some time for a Q&A at the end. So, who are Rangam Consultants? We started out over in the States all the way back in 1995. So this year we're actually celebrating 28 years in business. And I suppose over the years, we have expanded to the UK, Ireland, India, Germany, and the Czech Republic. We started out initially as a traditional recruitment company, and that's still a part of what we do today. But I suppose the fastest growing part of our business, and really the aspect that I'm particularly passionate about, is the work we do with our partner employers around disability inclusive hiring, which we call our Sourceable framework. In the past 10 years or so, we have thankfully seen a really huge uptick in the amount of employers who, I suppose, are really keen to understand what barriers they can remove to ensure that neurodivergent and disabled talent are getting equitable access and adequate support into the workforce. And I suppose have also really tuned into the fact that hiring autistic, neurodivergent and disabled talent, it's not an act of charity, but it's actually a massive benefit to the organization as we bring an absolutely huge amount of innovation and diversity of thought and fresh ideas to the table. And I suppose being locked out of the workforce is ensuring that these ideas are being unheard. So what do we do to address this? That is the key question that we address through our Sourceable framework. There are lots of great businesses out there who are really passionate about making their hiring process and their workplace practices more accessible. But I suppose often the biggest roadblock for these businesses is just not knowing where to begin. And that's where we at Rangam come in. So we are a team of subject matter experts in all things supported employment, and 100% of our team are in some way neurodivergent or disabled ourselves. So which I think is really important, because the support that we're giving employers in their journey towards becoming more disability inclusive all comes from a place of lived experience and having been in your shoes as a job seeker. So I suppose on the one hand, we're advising companies on how to be more accessible and, also giving them training in these areas. But we also help disabled or neurodivergent job seekers find roles where they're going to be truly supported and link you to, I suppose, these inclusive, accessible job opportunities. that we work with these partner employers to carve out. So depending on industry, our retention rate for placed candidates after 12 months on the job is anywhere between 85% and 90%, which I really think speaks to the strength of the support that we offer both employers and yourselves as job seekers. And I'm going to delve a little deeper into what that support looks like now on the next slide. Lovely. So as you can see here, the support that we offer job seekers with disabilities is really, very holistic in nature, and it's there for you to avail of every step of the way. So from the moment you sign up with us as a job seeker, right up to your 1-year anniversary in your role, we are there every step of the way. So when you register with us as a job seeker, which by the way is completely free and really quick to do, our recruitment team will reach out to you to arrange an introductory call. And on this call, what we do is we really take the time to get to know you. It's not just what's on your CV, but your interests, your career aspirations, any skills you might have picked up in maybe non-traditional ways. So for example, maybe through hobbies or extracurricular activities. We use all of that info then to build up a detailed skills profile that we use in conjunction with your CV. And that helps us match you to any suitable roles that might come up with our partner employers. I personally am a firm believer that CVs really only tell a small fraction of your story. And, ultimately it's about how good you are at marketing yourself, which means that sometimes people can get screened out if this isn't their strength. So I really do think that having that skills profile also ensures that we are capturing any anecdotal information that sometimes people mightn't even think to put on their CV. So, things like maybe having taken a first aid course or, knowing British Sign Language, just stuff that comes up in conversation that people mightn't have even thought to have included on their CV, but is actually, quite relevant. So if you are then matched to a role based on your CV and the skills profile that we work with you on, this is when our support really kicks in. So we help you with every aspect of the hiring process. So that could be preparing you for your interview. It could be, I suppose, just being that point of contact between you and the hiring manager to ensure that any reasonable adjustments or any adaptations that you might need to give your best possible interview are put in place. If you are then matched in, or I should say placed into the role, we don't just leave you at the gate on your first day and say, okay, goodbye, you're on your own now. We offer ongoing coaching and support to any candidates who are offered a role then with the partner employer. So that could be support with the onboarding process and ensuring that you're getting really clear information on maybe what your first week at the company is going to look like, or what your induction is going to look like, maybe any preparatory paperwork you might need to do. I know as an autistic person, that's something that I might, struggle with and need support with. So we're on hand to help there. And also just regular check-ins, being assigned a peer buddy or a mentor within the organisation who will have been trained up by us around disability inclusion. And then just generally acting as that go-between, and that neutral sounding board. So if there is any issue or concern you have that you're not sure how to approach, or maybe you're just feeling a bit nervous about starting a particular conversation with your manager, we're there to kind of facilitate that. And we're basically, that safe space where you can come and talk to us about any concerns and know that you don't have to go through HR. We help you navigate that conversation around disclosure, if that's a conversation maybe that you want to have with someone who's not your manager. And we also check in to make sure that any reasonable adjustments that have been agreed on are actually being implemented and are working for you. And if they're not, then, let's revisit it, let's review it, see if there's another approach we can try. And we're happy to advise on things that maybe have worked for other candidates in the past. So yeah, essentially, we're there for anything you might need to feel like you've been set up to thrive in your role. So in theory, that support carries on up until about the 12-month mark. And at that point, we generally start to step back just a little bit. But of course, we do have that ongoing relationship with the employer. So, if you have any concerns or advice that you'd like from us at any point, during your time at that company, we're always there to help. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have a very high retention rate after the 12-month mark, which, I think really just goes to show that our candidates feel really confident that they have that setup that they need to thrive in their roles, and also, most importantly, I guess, see a future for themselves in the company and opportunities for progression. So, that's something that just always makes me really proud to see. If you can move to the next slide, please. So, what kind of roles can we help you with is a question we get a lot. And as you can see here, I mean, really, we've been able to place candidates in a really diverse and wide spread of roles and industries. And actually, if anything, in a way, I think this chart is nearly a little misleading, because even within the larger segments of the chart, like pharma and finance, they would be huge industries for us in terms of the clients that we work with. A lot of the roles that come through to us from those employers would be in data, engineering, analytics, just a really wide array of different roles within the company. Traditionally, tech has been the industry really that has led the vanguard when it comes to disability inclusion and, programs like Autism at Work. So I suppose naturally a lot of the interest that we get from employers tends to be focused in these areas. But I've also seen plenty of roles in things like admin, quality control, manufacturing, and basically just lots of other areas that have come up in the past. So really anything could come true. And no matter what your background is, really, we strive to have something for everyone. We could move to the next slide. Yeah, so just some examples here of employers that we have worked with in the past. So you can see, it's really encouraging and, heartening to see that, major brand names are really leading the way here in showing a genuine and sincere interest in diversity and inclusion. You can see we have Johnson & Johnson there, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan and Chase, Amazon, Intel. It's great to see so many recognizable brand names really taking an interest in this and, looking to work with organizations such as ourselves to not only place neurodivergent and disabled talent, but to ensure that, that they feel like they belong in this company and are so happy there that they want to stay beyond the 12-month mark. So just to give you an idea there of companies that we work with, both globally and within Europe. If you move on to the next slide. And just here a few quotes from candidates who we have placed over the years and their experience, I suppose, having been placed through us. I'm not going to go through all of them in detail, but as you can see, it's great and really encouraging to see, some really great feedback about the support they've been getting from us, and then also through the employer, through us. So, the team at Rangam have been very helpful. They're very good at supporting and finding answers and communicating. And I think that's often, the thing that people can struggle with when they're placed without that support is, communicating your needs, trying to get the supports. I know myself as an autistic person in the past, I've had issues in jobs where I asked for accommodations and, there was no problem with it at the time. Everyone agreed to it, but they would just forget to implement it. And then I wouldn't have the heart or the courage to just keep chasing it up. So I really think in the past, I would have really benefited from being a candidate of Rangam's and being able to ask Rangam to follow up on all these things and ensuring that the adaptations that I need are actually being followed through. So if we could move to the next slide. So we do have a number of opportunities available in the UK at the moment. All of them at the moment are based in Stoke-on-Trent, funnily enough. And, there are some really great opportunities here. I'm not going to go through all of them in detail right now. I think Jason will be putting a link into the chat to our jobs board if you want to read the full job descriptions in detail. But I've put a kind of basic overview here for each of the roles that we have at the moment. If they do interest you, feel free to reach out to us. My email address is melissa@rangam.com, melissa@rangam.com. And you can also reach out to us on any of our social media channels if you'd like to find out more. But as I said, Jason will be putting a link into our jobs board on our website if you want to read the full job descriptions. But yeah, so here we've got a control systems engineer. And what's great about this role is that it's hybrid, so just 2 days a week in the office. So it's a really nice, flexible working arrangement. There is the caveat that you need to be able to pass security clearance, but that's, no problem. And there are some lovely perks and benefits. So like I said, the flexible working, mental health assistance program, private healthcare. I think there's 25 days annual leave allocated with that job as well, which isn't mentioned there, but that's quite a nice generous allowance. Basically just looking for people with engineering or IT experience and, has, I suppose, experience in design documentation and test specifications. If you have that kind of background, it is a lovely role. If you can move to the next job, please. Like I said, I'm really just going to breeze through these. There's a full job description up on our website if you want to take a look. But this is a hardware engineer role. Again, flexible working. It's a permanent contract, which is really great. And what's particularly attractive about this role, I think, is that the employer is willing to support you in achieving a professional engineering qualification, whether that's a CEng or an IEng. And also, professional membership fees are covered, which, can cost an arm and a leg. So it's really great to see that there is some great learning and development and also training and advancement opportunities within the company. So, I think that's a lovely, really attractive opportunity if you do have, I suppose, that background in the hardware engineering. If you can move to the next one. This one is quite similar. It's just a little bit more senior, also a hardware engineering role, particularly interested in people who maybe have some knowledge of control systems, field cabling, looking for people with some great analytical skills, methodical skills. I don't like to pigeonhole certain neurotypes, but I know being autistic myself, a great strength a lot of us autistic people can have is being quite analytically minded, quite methodical. So, if there's anyone out there who, I suppose, has that background and suits those kind of roles that are quite analytical, I think this would be a lovely opportunity. And again, there is that support being offered in getting your engineering qualifications, and, any professional membership fees that you might need will be covered. And then finally, senior project manager. So this one is a little bit different to the others, and it's just looking for someone with a background in electrical engineering, looking for someone who's a good negotiator. It is quite a senior role, so a bit of negotiating is involved. Like I said, great benefits there, 25 days holidays, flexible working, pension, private healthcare, mental health assistance program. As you can imagine, all these are in Stoke-on-Trent, so it's the same employer, but there's some really great opportunities there if you either are in the Staffordshire area or are willing to locate there or relocate there. So that's basically all the roles that we have in the UK at the moment, but we do have a number of roles available outside of the UK as well. If you have a bit of wanderlust and maybe are interested in an adventure in a new country. If you can move to the next slide, I just have a few role titles there. We have a lot of roles at the moment live in Ireland, particularly in the Cork area. I'm not going to list them all out there, but you can see on the slide, we have lots going at the moment, particularly in analytics, quite techie roles as well, microbiology. It's a really great employer that I'm quite familiar with. So definitely if you're in the UK and you're looking to relocate to Ireland or would be open to it, those are some really great opportunities. We also are recruiting at the moment for a number of internships in Germany. The employer is absolutely excellent, and these are just really, really great stepping stone opportunities for students who are in their first or second year of college to get a foothold in the tech market. There's some great marketing roles, great sales roles, engineering, tech. So it's not even just STEM. There's some great roles for people who maybe have a background in marketing, a background in sales, a background in business. excellent opportunities, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me about any of that. Again, my email is Melissa, MELISSA @rangam.com, or reach out to us on socials if you want to find out more about those opportunities. And then in the Czech Republic, in Prague, we have a few different opportunities going in tax, IT, AI full stack, engineering, and yeah, so if you're interested in relocating to Prague, it's a beautiful city, nice low cost of living. Feel free to let us know that you're interested, or if you know of anyone who's either based in the Czech Republic or might be interested in relocating, let us know. So next slide, please. So I would say, if you didn't see anything there that fits your background, don't be disheartened. During the summer months, I think things start to get a bit quiet. Recruitment slows down a bit before picking up back again in the autumn. So what I will say is, don't wait for your ideal role to come through our jobs board before signing up with us and sending over your CV. So even if there isn't a concrete role on the jobs board that matches what you're looking for, each employer will have other roles in the pipeline that they're maybe just not ready to release yet. And, I suppose it's hard for us to know what roles there is demand for unless we know, unless candidates are signing up and we know what you're looking for. So let's say, for example, I see a lot of candidates signing up who are looking for data analyst roles, and we haven't had any come true recently. We can use this information to, I suppose, quantify demand and try to convince employers to, maybe open up roles in this department, or maybe they have roles in this department that just hasn't been assigned to us. But, if we have candidates in that area, it really helps us make our case to the employer that, we'd love to get a role released to us in this area because we have some really amazing candidates and great talent to fill to fill those roles. So if you sign up anyway, even if there isn't a role up there at the moment that suits you, it's a really, really great indicator to us of, like, if you're not in, you can't win, basically. If you have, we can't know what you're looking for and what you want unless you sign up. So if you sign up, we know you're there. We know you're looking for a role in XYZ industry. And that helps us not only inform the conversations that we're having with our current partners, but also it helps us approach future partners and new partner employers. If we see a lot of demand for a particular industry and we don't currently have partnerships in that area, it helps us go and forge new partnerships on the basis of the fact that we have lots of demand for this area. So please do send over your CV anyway, and don't be discouraged if you don't see anything here that's not for you, because you never know what might come up in the pipeline. So in order to sign up, Jason will be putting in a link into the chat, but it is very, very simple. As you can see there on the slide, it's literally just your name, your email address, a few simple questions on if you're disabled. If not, that's okay. But, obviously this is why we're here this morning, to talk about disability inclusive hiring. And then just upload your CV. Your CV doesn't need to be in tip-top shape. You can get in touch with us at any time if you want to update your CV, and we'll keep the latest version on file. So it's okay if you upload a version that is maybe not completely up to date. We can update it at any time. So please do follow that link and sign up. Like I said, it's completely free. It takes maybe 30 seconds to do. And once you do that, then our recruiters will be in touch to arrange that introductory call and build your skills profile, as I was mentioning earlier. So other ways to stay up to date as well. If you're on LinkedIn, we have jobs groups for each of our countries. I'd strongly recommend you join the UK one. It's very up to date. As roles come in, we'll be posting them up in the jobs group. It's a great way to stay up to date, and there's also a community of other job seekers on there. So absolutely, please do join that. I think Jason will be putting a link for that group in as well. If you're on LinkedIn, definitely give it a follow. And also just follow us on LinkedIn. Many of you probably already do follow us if you're joining today from our LinkedIn page, but definitely do follow us and subscribe to notifications so that you'll see any jobs that come through on the daily. So that is pretty much it. I know we only have a couple of minutes left, but have there been any questions? Does anyone have any kind of comments, things to add? No questions? Oh, perfect. Great. It looks like a lot of the questions have already been answered in the chat. Perfect. Great. I was so busy talking, I never even noticed all the over and back going on in the comments, but it's great to see some really great conversations happening. So thank you so much, everyone. I think with that, we will wrap up. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Like I said, feel free to reach out to myself at any point with any questions, melissa@rangam.com. Or reach out to us on socials. We're more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And yeah, hopefully we're looking forward to talking to you all and helping you in your job finding journey. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.